Okay, morning everyone. My name's Jen. I'm the specialist for our app Sentinel. I am a psychophysiological researcher of stress in first responders and particularly in police. And today I'm joined with my amazing programmers, Rita and Young from the computer engineering program. So police are exposed to dangerous and stressful situations every day. And over time, this stress can accumulate, resulting in both mental and physical health issues. For example, up to 26% of Canadian police have operational stress injuries, which are psychological difficulties gained from their own job that can influence their performance, as
Sorry,
well as,
again, just if you can move closer to your microphone, you're sort of cutting in and out. Maybe that's the
oh,
problem.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So over time, the stress can accumulate, resulting in operational stress injuries in 26% of police, which are psychological difficulties such as PTSD and depression, as well as cardiovascular issues such as blood pressure, as well as heart disease. And mental and heart health not only can interact and influence each other, but together can also influence police performance, such as their decision making, such as shooting decisions, as well as their environmental awareness, not putting their safety at risk and also putting the public safety at risk, which they aim to protect. On top of this, police have an issue of stigma as well as fear of judgment from their peers, so it's unlikely that they are able to seek help or even be aware of how likely at risk they are for these issues. To address this, we have developed the app Sentinel. So Sentinel is an app specifically designed for police to allow them to track specific mental and heart health symptoms that they are at risk for. This allows them to be self-aware and autonomous to maintain and track when they are at risk for various symptoms.
Okay, so we have four main functions. The first is critical incident recordings. So this function allows police officers to record when they are on the job that interacting with, interact with people and they encounter the critical event. And the number two, they can track their heart health and they can take the statistics from the record and to be able to track heart health over time. So here we have resting heart rate tracking as well as review the previous logs of the critical incident heart rate recordings. So number three is the mental health tracking. So they can track mental health symptoms by literature established tests, so which has the professional research that can indicate that those questions are good to use. And number four is the support resources. So user can see the statistics summaries and includes the scores that help them to do the self-determination. And they also can get the information that where and how can they get the professional support online. And next is the software structures. So for the input, user provides their heart rate data and they can take the assessment. We will store those kind of information and the analysis to our database. And based on the input of the user, we process the information and gives them back the logs, analysis, and the test histories and the support. Next. Okay, so because we have the health kits, this make our app compatible with any kinds of the sensors that which can compatible with the Apple Health app. So in our app, we use the Polar H10 sensor because Polar provides the most accurate data, and it is Polar is the one that used in the literature research. So next, we will demo our app.
Okay, so this is the home page, and imagine that you're a police officer and you want to know how you physiologically react and respond to an encounter. You can go to the critical incident section. You can start record the section and leave your phone in the car or just in the pocket when you respond to the incident. And during this time, the heart rate monitor will keep recording the heart rate. And when it's done, you can provide write a title and have a description about what happens and save it. And then later today, if you want to check it inside critical incident, inside the home and in critical incident log, you can find all the logs recorded in date order. And for each log, there will be a line chart showing all the heart rate data along with the max heart rate, average heart rate, and its duration. And if we go back and into resting heart rate, it allows you to record your heart rate when you're at rest by clicking measure. And it will be shown as a data point in the line chart. So you can find your resting heart rate in the recent 5 days through the line chart. And lower heart rate implies better health and more adaptable to responding to stress. And next, at the bottom, you can also find the average max heart rate of all the critical incident logs. Next section is the mental health assessment for you to measure your some symptoms. And you can see that you have 5 options of the mental health symptom that we measure on this app. And for the purpose of demonstration, we'll focus on PTSD. For each symptom, you have about take assessment and symptom history. The about page lets you see the description of the test and its symptoms. And then the officer can take the test during their downtime. Here, it gives you a quick overview and go. For the purpose of demo, we'll be only showing a couple of questions, but there are totally 20 questions for PTSD. So you can choose your answer and submit. It will allow you to see the total score you get out of the total possible score, as well as a small description of what the score could mean. After it's saved, we can go to the symptom history and we can see the history scores the officers get on PTSD symptom as a line chart, as well as a list, and you can interact with the list to see more about that one. The last section we have is the support section. So first, in the stats report, you can find your most recent scores on each mental health test and the average heart rate data, including average resting heart rate, average max heart rate, as well as the average duration of the critical incidents in the last month. The stats report can provide you a quick snapshot summary on your overall score across the app for you to make your own decision whether or not you need help. And of course, you can share it by taking screenshots. So based on that, the final aspects we have is a couple of resources. In our case, we use some hotlines such as the COP line and the Crisis Service Canada. So they can choose to either call or text using the hot links. So that's end of the demo.
Awesome. So let's just go back to ours. So from our proposal, there were a lot of additional features that we weren't able to include in this current model, but we will plan to include in the future. So this includes the video recording playback, as well as live notifications to remind officers to take their tests, additional heart rate recording features, relaxation such as breathing exercises, as well as perhaps a future chat feature so users can discuss with each other as a confidant with each other. So just some reflection, if we could start this project again, we would have probably liked to have gotten even earlier input from actual police. So this app was based off of previous research of what we know, but it would have been nice to get some initial feedback immediately to help shape and develop the features even better and more effectively for police specifically, as well as reorganize our spiral schedule to target the most difficult feature first. In this case, it was the heart rate features, which ended up having some more issues than we initially thought, and ended up having to adjust all the features that we could include in the final product. Then some of the key learnings that we had, primarily besides designing the UI and our time management for developing an app like this, which is first for all of us, the biggest learning that we used was learning how to communicate as a team with each other. Myself coming from a psychology background, my programmers coming from a computer engineering background, trying to communicate our ideas and our abilities to be able to understand how to accurately reflect and create what we wanted to in the most efficient and effective manner. So that's all we have for you guys today. Thanks so much. We're hoping to continue the development of this app in the future, so you can follow it on Twitter.
Very good, thank you. It's a bunch of interesting features. It's always been exciting to see something so connected to police work, which we haven't seen much of in this course. lots of features. I appreciate that you've done a fair bit of work. Just for the future, if you're ever doing a presentation, please practice it more than you have, and also uh, please take that advice about putting a demo into context and not make it a list of features, because it's hard to bring all that together. Somehow you need to bring those things together. Hopefully, you can do that in your final report. Um, uh, yeah, that's my main feedback about it. It's hard to take this in unless you played the role of a police officer and used this thing. It would have been more compelling. Um, yeah, that's the only comment I have. Dan, do you have anything? You're muted, Dan. Dan, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I was muted. You mentioned that you're going to continue development. Is the goal to test this in like a research setting with officers?
Yeah, so that'll be one of them. We have like ongoing research projects going on. So I would like to in the future, once everything settles down, to implement this in the current structures. Right now, we do a lot of this by hand. So a lot of the features in the app would actually digitize and just speed everything up as far as recording that goes, especially if we add those sharing abilities that we were talking about. But also we want it to be something available like in the App Store, so people could just use it and keep track and be aware for their own purposes. Yeah.
Good luck going forward with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that would be good. And I apologize, I identified you as Michelle earlier on. You're Jen. Kia, any comments?
No comments from me. Good job, guys. Looks good.
Thank you.
Great. Comments from anyone else?
I just think overall, like, it's a nice package, and I think you're going to have a really good time testing this.
Great. Thanks, Alex.